So this afternoon I got online and I saw on one of my Facebook friends their post, and they were putting certain women out on blast, you know, those desperate women, talking about them being in love every 30 days with a different dude, and that they need to be the coach in their own lives. And you know, after reading it, I was so pumped up. I was like, this is so true. I am so tired of hearing about these desperate women, because they have to be out there, because they are now becoming the majority against our minority. You know, women who feel that they don't necessarily need a man to provide that extra, you know, essential part of their lives, but that when they meet the right guy, they come together as equal partners in that partnership and, you know, live together as a whole, but not one being more powerful than the other, because at some point, you know, you can both be financially stable and also, you know, one person being the stronger in certain values, but to only depend on a man to take care of you emotionally, you have to be emotionally stable yourself, you know, in order to be able to grasp the concept of being in a good relationship. Stop being so desperate and taking God's bullshit, you know, because men know that they're outnumbered by women, so they're not going to be out there really searching and looking for the right woman, because there are so many different women that are out there that they can have, you know, different personalities and everything. You know, you got dudes who are laying up with the same woman, and she's laying up with him not even wearing protection because she's getting pregnant every time she end up laying up with him. But then every time he's out on the street, he's fooling around with a different woman and throwing it up in your face at the same time. So when are you going to learn that that's not healthy? You know, when are you going to learn that you shouldn't be that desperate? You should know that you're worthy enough to have a man who will respect you as a woman. Evidently, men like this, they don't even respect women as, you know, as a whole. They can't respect women if they're mistreating a woman like this, you know, but you're allowing him to mistreat you like this, so that's why he keeps doing it. And that's why you have so many women out there who's single with all these children and never been married. I mean, look at the number of women who have more than 2 to 3 kids, you know, and they've never been married. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. That means that we're laying up with these men and we are fitting the bill. You know, we are basically that desperate that we're telling society as a whole that now they're labeling, especially certain types of women, certain race of women, such as our African American women, we're being labeled, you know, as basically desperate dating pariahs. You know, either we're too desperate that we're laying up with these men and having their children, and we're not being, you know, thinking that we're worthy enough to be married to these men. You know, even though I do believe that marriage is overrated, but I do believe in monogamy. I do believe in monogamous relationships. I don't want to ever be worried that I cannot have sex with my, you know, my boyfriend, my husband, or whatever the case may be, and think that I'm going to get HIV or a sexually transmitted disease such as chlamydia, herpes, gonorrhea. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think that my husband or my boyfriend is out there cheating on me, and I can't just say, I don't want to, you know, I just want to be with you. That we're going to have to always constantly protect ourselves together, because I can't trust you and then you can't trust me, because I'm sure as hell I'm not going to trust him, you know. And by me, I've been dating for a really long time. I'm 32 years old, and I went, you know, I was having such a hard time as far as what is wrong with me. I'm sitting here thinking, what is wrong with me? And I'm like, okay, maybe it's my weight or whatever, or you know, maybe it's because I'm too dark skinned, because this is what guys are throwing at me. You know what I'm saying? They got me thinking that it's me. But then when I start thinking about it, and I'm thinking about the relationships and really non-relationships, and kind of, you know, thinking about our conversations, you can kind of tell. Men, they will sit up there and they will lie through their teeth. They will lie. They're liars, compulsive liars, because the power of the P is so strong that it makes these men lie. It does. I mean, men are like dogs in heat, okay? You ever saw that pack of dogs that be running behind that one female dog because she's in heat and they know it, they can smell it on her, they know it, and she's running, you know, she's running for her life, and they all just trying to get some. That's how men are. You ain't never been at the club or been anywhere where there was a pack of men, you know, and the way they talk, I mean, they act like a pack of dogs in heat. And I'm sorry that I have to say that. I'm not saying all of you, but for the most part, most men do act like that pack of dogs, chasing after that female that's in heat because they can smell it. They're trying to get it, you know. And then it's so bad nowadays that women are so desperate that they're allowing these men to mistreat them, disrespect them. You know, I have a lot of young guys who, you know, message me on the dating sites, and they're, you know, they're like 22, 23 years old, and I'm trying to figure out what. And then I realized when I started talking to some women, older women who are dating younger men, they're allowing these guys to sit up in their homes, don't work. You know, the guys don't work, and they feel like, okay, well, she can take care of me. I'm not your mama. Okay? I have a 13-year-old. I'm not your mama. You know, and my daddy taught me, don't ask no man for nothing. If you can't do it yourself, then evidently you need to work harder to achieve what you need. So no, I'm not going to be out there being desperate and say, oh my God, I need a man. I'm not emotionally needy, even though one guy did tell me that. I'm emotional, I'm passionate, I'm loyal, and there's no Negro out there that's going to even feel that loyalness, you know, that emotional passion that I have to love a man, because I can't get past the first 3 conversations with these men. You know, after the first conversation, we're talking, you know, and he's, you know, I'm thinking that everything is okay, and then, you know, he started talking about, well, how big are your breasts? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I know that y'all think about sex all the time, but there's a time and there's a place to talk about that. We haven't even met. You asking me how big my breast is. Boom. Number 1, he's not really into me. I already know that right then by him asking about my breasts. If he messages me and he's talking about my breasts, or when can we meet, you know, if I say, okay, let's just meet at Starbucks, you know, where do you live, you know, what side of town do you live on, or I was thinking that maybe you can just come over here, or I can come over there, we can cuddle up on the sofa and watch a movie. That shit don't impress me. I can cuddle up on my sofa anytime I want to and watch a damn movie. I want to go out, you know. So I'm not that desperate, but like, oh yeah, I got a man, he's going to come over. No, I'm not going to be bringing Tom, Dick, and Harry over to my apartment every time they want to meet me for the first time because I'm so desperate to have a man. You know, I'm not like that. And maybe I'm missing out on my blessing because of that, to find a man, but I can't lower myself to that point. So I'm not that desperate. And I'm not so desperate that I need a man to buy me things. I'm not, you know, no gold digger, because I done met women like that too. You know, we meet on the same, or date on the same circles, and you're asking me about what kind of car he drives and what kind of clothes he was wearing, because you're trying to get a feel of how much money he make. Again, you're pushing us back, and you're making a very bad name for women as a whole, because you're coming off as being financially needy with a man. You know, nowadays I don't even see how that can be done, you know, while women are still thinking on those terms. You really have to be trying to find a man that's making more than what you would make. Let's say if the average was $35,000 a year. That means you need to be looking for a man that's bringing in at least $70,000, $80,000 a year in order to take care of that household. And the reason being, if you're not getting into a relationship and you're, you know, financially needy and you can't stand on your own 2 feet, anything can happen to your boyfriend. Anything can happen to your husband. Let's say if he is your boyfriend, you shacking up, you know, and you're not living in a common law marriage state. What are you going to do? You're not going to get anything, you know, with that. You're not going to be able to, like, say, and then he leaves you, you're going to be left in debt, you know, and unless you done had 3 or 4 kids from now, you can get the child support. Other than that, you're screwed. And let's say you don't want to stop being, let's say if he gets hurt and gets sick, if you're not working and you don't have any skills or education, how are you going to help take care of that household if you ain't got nothing to offer? So stop being desperate to the point where you're not even taking care of yourself. It's just not going to work. You know, y'all are putting these particular type of women, y'all are putting us down, y'all pushing us back, y'all making a bad name for us as far as being desperate towards being emotionally needy as well as financially needy. You know, you should have yourself set emotionally, but able to bring that extra passionate emotion to the relationship, whereas you can communicate with your boyfriend and or husband. So looking for all of that and just asking for a man to be able to communicate with you and be able to express himself emotionally doesn't necessarily mean that you're emotionally needy. But when you're depending on him to bring that happiness and that joy into your life because you're missing that, that's something that you need to deal with on your own. That's not something that anybody can bring to you. You have to be emotionally set yourself. And because a relationship, as far as I'm concerned, my opinion only, is a partnership. Whereas there should be some type of balance in place. You shouldn't be depending on a man to take care of you in that sense. And then you shouldn't be depending on a man to take care of you financially. You should be set financially, whereas you're bringing more to the table. You're bringing your piece of, your half of the pie to the table, so to speak, and you know, you're not bringing a slice, basically. So for the ladies that are out there who's desperately seeking men, don't take the bullshit that's coming in between just because you're trying to wait on the good shit to come later on. Take care of you in between. You know, let that in between time before you find the right guy, before the right guy comes, you know, comes along. Take care of you. Spend that time on yourself, and you know, not trying to be out there just hooking up with every guy, and just because you done slept with them, now you're in love. That's, come on, that's ridiculous. You're pushing us back. You're making a bad name for women. Men know that you are desperate. Okay, they can smell it on you. Like that pack of dogs that are in heat. They can smell it. You know, so stop being so desperate and start being the controller of your own life. Have yourself emotionally set as well as financially set, that you know that you can take care of yourself if that man left you today, whether he walked out on you with someone else or whether he passed out and died. Because if you're depending on a man to take care of you financially and emotionally, then you're not ready to be in a relationship, and he knows that.